Hi, everyone. Brybone here, back with another episode of the Weekly Purple Team. Today, we're going to talk about Windows Defender for Application Control and the purple team of this. Well, what do you mean? This is a defensive control. Well, what if we can weaponize this and make it offensive? That's what we're going to do today. We're going to weaponize WDAC against EDR. We're going to wipe out EDR with WDAC, okay? Windows Defender for Application Control, if you don't know what this is, check it out. It is an application allow listing software, and it allows you to block basically anything you want from running. And we're going to turn that on its ear and block EDR from running with WDAC. Now, this works because WDAC policies are system-wide. They are fully system-wide. In other words, when you upload this, it's on by default, and it is system-wide. No user can stop it from happening. There are user level policies, but if you set it at kernel, you can block basically everything from happening at a system level. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to first take a look at our Windows 10 host 6 over here. It has Palo Alto XDR installed on it. This is Cortex XDR. It also has Defender. We're going to wipe out both with 2 files. Very simple. Doesn't matter what the EDR is here. I just have XDR on this host, so I'm using it. It could be CrowdStrike. It could be anything. Does not matter what it is. This technique cannot be stopped by the EDR vendors. Why? We're using a Microsoft utility to destroy their ability to load their drivers. And that's what we're going to do. Okay. To do this, we're going to do this over here on our Windows 10 host 2. You probably want to go ahead and get the app control policy wizard from Microsoft to create your WDAC policy. Now, once you've gotten the application control policy wizard, you simply go into policy creator, and then you probably want to choose single policy format because it's the most compatible, right? If you're doing multi-policy format, that's compatible with newer ones, but you want to be the most compatible here, right? This is a red team engagement. It's a pen test. You want to be as compatible as possible so you can knock out EDR in as many places as you can. So we'll go next. We're going to use default Windows mode here, and we're just going to give our policy a name. So we'll call it Weaponize. Call it Weaponize here, and we'll call it Weaponize here. So Weaponize. Just like that. And then we go next. And I usually like to go into the advanced options because remember, this is a Windows control. If you do this the wrong way, you might give yourself away, or you might chop off your own hands and not be able to run things because, well, you're turning on app blocker. You're turning on WDAC here, which essentially blocks you from running programs, right? You could cut off your own hands, so you can't operate on the host. Now, you can also put in rules to allow stuff to run. I like to disable runtime file path rules here and turn off audit mode. But if you know you're going to be running from a certain directory, say C Windows temp, you might want to put in a path exclusion to make sure that that works. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're just going to knock out EDR, and then you can, build as you choose. So we'll go next, and then we get into our typical sample policy, right? Allowing all these things to run, and then we're going to deny some things at the bottom. So we're going to first add a custom rule, and then we're going to do user mode and kernel mode. We're going to do a deny policy, and then we're going to choose publisher. This is the way that I've found that works the best against EDRs. And then we're going to choose browse, and we're going to take the installer file that I have here. This is the Cortex XDR installer, and we're going to bring that into the program to get its certificates. So we'll simply go to desktop. We choose all files. We then choose our XDR client. Now this could be any EDR. And if you know the certificate, you could simply type it into publisher here, right? It's not hard to stop this. It's also not hard for you to get a copy of a running executable that has this. Any executable that is running from this EDR vendor, you just bring it in. And the moment you bring it in, it's going to give you this information. So we're going to do issuing CA and publisher, create the rule. We'll just go create rule now. And that's going to block anything by that publisher. So that should be everything related to Cortex XDR in this case. Well, what happens if we knock Cortex XDR out? What do you think Windows does? It brings in Defender. Well, let's knock out Defender too. One shot, 2 kills. I like that, right? So we're going to go ahead and add a custom rule here. We'll do deny, we'll do kernel, and we're going to select this time. We're going to go file attributes. And for our reference file, we're going to go to C:\program data. Program data, Microsoft. Then it is Windows Defender and platform. And then you can choose what platforms are on the system. You typically want to choose the latest one and then go in here and pick a file. I usually like to choose the service itself, which is not mpcmd run, but msmp engine right here. So we choose this and open. You can now select these boxes. So anything with that, anything with the anti-malware service executable, you don't want to do product name. Be careful here. You can kill your boot. And then you can do internal name and just do create rule. Now you can choose to merge with recommended user block rules or kernel block rules. This is up to you. It is not required for this step. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next here, and it's going to start building the policy. Now this takes a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Our policy has been built, and notice we have 2 files. We have weaponize XML. This is the XML configuration file, and we have SI policy P7B. This is the actual policy, the SI policy P7B. So what we want to do is now upload these so that we can get them on our victim host, upload them to the web. It doesn't matter if it has a mark of the web on it or not. It still works in this case. So you can download it from anywhere and it's still going to work. So we'll go in, we're going to just copy these. Actually, we'll just upload them to UpDoc real quick. So we'll choose our file. We have weaponize and SI policy. We'll choose open. We'll choose upload. And they're up there on our Kali box or whatever we have for our staging area. Now, we're going to assume that we have administrative level and some kind of shell to this host where we can copy these files. You simply just need to copy these files into the code integrity directory. So if we go over here to Explorer. Now, if I had PowerShell, I could do this via PowerShell. You can do this via SMB copying from a Kali box. Once these files are created, they can just be any method you can use to get them into the code integrity directory. So we go C:\. We're going to go system32. It's Windows system32. So Windows system32 code integrity, just like this. And you can see in here, there's some policies. We simply just copy these in. So I'm going to go ahead and I will open our browser here. And we'll open a new tab. We'll get our UpDog here. We're going to download SI policy P7B and weaponize.xml. We're going to keep it. And over here on our downloads, you can simply take weaponize and SI policy and copy them in. I have 2 copies of this here, so it's the same policy. We'll just do the one that we just created. I'll rename it though, just to make sure that it has the right name. We'll delete these 2 actually. Let's just go ahead and delete them, get them out of the way. We'll rename our SI policy one. Just like that. And then we copy these files into our code integrity directory. So we simply go into C, Windows, there it is, Windows code integrity right there. And we'll copy these files in. So we just go paste, it'll ask us to continue. We're going to continue. We're going to copy these 2 files in. Now the hard part. You have to trigger a restart. This is the only thing that makes this kind of painful. You could just wait on the restart, right? That's fine. You can wait on a restart, and then you know that EDR is going to be out of your way. You can also trigger a crash. That's another way. People who run Windows are used to blue screens of death. You can trigger a crash and get it to reboot. That's the way I like to do it. Trigger a crash in some way, so it blue screens on the user and it just reboots. They won't even notice. So take one of those methods, get it to reboot. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here and reboot the system so you guys don't have to watch the reboot cycle. And then when we come back, we will verify that both Cortex and Defender are dead. So let's do that now. All right, and we're back after our reboot of Win 10 Host 6 here, Johnny Storm's workstation. And just while you're remembering, we got a contest going on of name the person that you hear in the video. First one to comment, you get some points. Once you get 100 points, I'll send you some hacker stickers. But got Johnny Storm's workstation here, and it is crippled from an EDR perspective. And I'll show you why. If we come down here to our tray, you will no longer see the Cortex XDR icon. If you go into services here, Cortex XDR service is not running. Remember, these are protected processes. You're not supposed to be able to stop these. But we stopped it at boot with WDAC. Okay, so Cortex is out of the way. Also, Defender says restart now. That won't work because they can't restart it because WDAC is actually blocking. We come over here to Defender. We'll go into our Microsoft Defender antivirus service right there. Stopped. Basically, all of the services are stopped by our WDAC policy. And just to verify that this is the case, we'll go into PowerShell here. And many of you know the trick with PowerShell. If EDR is in place and you do invoke Mimikatz, it will almost always tell you, hey, this has been blocked by EDR. As you can see here, it says this is not a recognized name of a commandlet. That means AMSI's out of the way, which means Defender is off. This host is ripe for the taking, right? No EDR processes, quite simply because you copied 2 files into the code integrity directory. So there's our red. The harder part is the blue on this one. We come over here to our Elastic SIM. We can look for files being added to the code integrity directory. That's basically all we can do here. Now, if you have done what I've said in basically every video ever and implemented Sysmon, this isn't too bad for you, especially if you're sending it to SIM. You can look for event code 11, and then you can look for basically anything going into this code integrity directory that is not being put there by a system user. We're going to have to extend our timeline here. Let's go last 1 hour. We'll update our timeline. And as you can see right here, see Windows System 32 code integrity. There is our SI policy P7B. And here is our weaponize.xml. So right there is the instantiation of a file into the code integrity directory. If you have Sysmon, I would do this. I would create an alert for when someone is adding files into your code integrity directory, because you just saw there, I can wipe out EDR. Now I can do this domain wide if I have domain access and you're not using WDAC in your group policies. I can create a group policy that does exactly this and just blocks your EDR domain wide. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. So pretty serious here. There is another way to detect this. I would only use it in a threat hunting type event. This is if you don't have Sysmon. If you don't have Sysmon, shame on you. Go do that. There's no reason to not. Even if you're not sending it to SIM, I would still get that out there. But we're going to do event code 4656, and we're going to look for the creation of a handle into a file in the code integrity directory. Now, this is basically a file handle being created to these files. EDR will scan these, and you can sometimes see in here if files were added, like this right here. Here's our SI policy 7B, and here's our weaponized.xml. You can match up the handle with file creation. If it's done with SMB, you can detect it with detailed file share logs. When they copy the files over by SMB, they're copying through the C dollar share. You can see 5145. We did not do that in this particular example. I would do the Sysmon route here because 4656, there's no way to create alerting that's going to be really successful here. And this is just basically a handle being open to that file, right? It's not so much the creation. So every time EDR scans at host, it's going to light it up, right? It's going to look through that code integrity directory and light it up. But this is a good way to get it if you're threat hunting. All right. So we have weaponized a Microsoft tool to basically wipe out EDR here. This is a pretty dangerous attack. And it's not that hard to do. The only thing is, of course, the reboot. So that's all I've got for you this week. Thanks for hacking with me, and hack the planet to defend better.